Finally, 31st of July 2020, last day of the week, last day of the month. Piotr here, the Slide Forex Global YouTube channel. Good morning from Europe, good afternoon, good evening guys, wherever you are. Very busy week, still few events ahead, so more fireworks towards the end of the week, towards the end of the month. I'm gonna to focus on Canadian GDP, so we are going to go through a few Canadian dollar pairs. So without a further delay, let's have a look what we have when it comes to the charts. Alright, so we start with Canadian dollar, then we will see where we are with the time. Okay, Canadian GDP. Let's start with the USCAD because well, the things looks brightly, a bit brightly when it comes to buyers, right? That's the weekly open, so the blue dashed line, yeah, should be blue. Jeez, it's really I'm getting tired. Anyway, there was a nice attempt to reverse the move, but the thing is that we are still above very important levels, right? So we have this type of the bottom over here, double triple bottom, nice reversal. Now from the first, let's start with the sellers. All right, let's start with the sellers. So sellers, they don't want to see move above yesterday high, right? So the sellers, they don't want to see the move above yesterday high. So what they do, probably in my opinion, because of what we already seen here. All right, so we have this over under formation. We also got back below this weekly open, so we have a chance to activate this supply over here. So very interesting, very curious where we are going to be at the end of this hour. We should start to create the upper shadow. We should start to create the upper shadow to try to push prices lower towards the low, towards the 33, to look for the stop count below 33. On the other hand, the buyers may want to try to use the opportunity that they were able to get back to the weekly open. That could be some kind of the reverse trade here. So levels close to 34, 33, 80 are very important, right? That's where I see some buyers coming in. Why? Because from here we went lower, right? And from here we went lower. That's why here is some kind of the bullish intraday bullish zone, right? I see, and as you can see, we've seen some kind of the attempt to test these levels, and the test was positive. We went higher from here. So very good fight going on here. Depends what's your bias. You want to take the advantage of the current price action, but of course if you are a seller, you don't want to see such a strong close towards the end of this hour, right? So both cases for the buyers and the sellers. If you want to be a little bit more conservative and you want to be the buyer, then either you want to see strong rejection, stop count below this triple bottom, reverse, retest, continuation higher. That's what you want to see. Or you want to use the current price action, right? And you want to treat it as a rally, currently base and rally, so taking out all those highs over here, right? Then you want to see comeback towards this weekly open, and that's gonna be your long setup, all right, if you are more conservative. So that's how I see the things when it comes to the USDCAD. It looks from the Canadian dollar perspective, looks a little bit better when you are checking Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, right? Now the thing is, it's very nice over under based on the daily chart. and the high been tested during the Tokyo hours. All right, so we know where we are now. The thing is that it might not be enough. Why? Because the bulls were able to take out the previous swing high, right? So that's the nearest support around 96. Also yesterday low and open around 96.50 as another zone of the possible demand. So that's those two, right? But from the intraday perspective, when you are preparing for the GDP and you believe Canadian dollar is gonna be stronger, then you are switching to the intraday chart and you have two possibilities to try to trade long side. Either you are trying to trade around 96.70, 96.75 the shorts with the stop above 88 and you are targeting levels close to 96 and 95.50, all right? Or you are waiting for the stop count above Tokyo high, rejection, right? Something like this, and then you are joining the party to the downside. So you want to see the close below that high. So maybe it's not the best. You want to see this type of the rejection, all right? This type of the rejection and closing below. That's the second setup to go short when it comes to the Aussie CAD, meaning that that's the possibility to be long Canadian dollar. On the other hand, CADJPY, that's where you may want to look for selling opportunity, right? Well, we are fighting around some important levels, so the bounce could be in place. So closer to the weekly open, 78.70. So let's say we have a spike on the Canadian dollar, right? So closer to the weekly open, that's where I'm gonna to hunt for the shorts when it comes to the CADJPY. Why? Because I think we are still doing this big one-to-one move and we are going to retest 76 when it comes to the CADJPY. So that's all about the Canadian dollar ahead of the GDP, right? If you remember our late yesterday update post earnings from the four tech giants, right? All of them reported very good results. We've seen stocks gapping higher, indices gapping higher. No follow through right now. Anyway, also the dollar yen is testing very important levels, and we already seen some kind of the lower shadow creation. Now the thing is, we didn't get to 104.07, 104. So maybe if that was the move overnight, this is the rally right now. Maybe during the beginning of the US session, maybe bears will try again, at least to hunt the stops. And if we are going to get back above, that could be set up to try to go long when it comes to the dollar, yen. But be careful, lower your exposure, guys, because it's end of the month. You don't want to be trapped. You don't want to be trapped, guys. All right, and that's very important thing. And so that's the dollar. That's the dollar yen. When it comes to the euro dollar and the cable, I'm waiting for this end of the month. I wanna see what the weekly and monthly candle will look like. So probably over the weekend or right after the weekend, we are going to make the separate update when it comes to the majors, right? Finally, Euro Aussie, still looking to buy. I missed, as I explained yesterday, I missed that one. Well, maybe because of the positive sentiment, we are going to get this intraday 1-to-1, right? I wanna see that around the US Open. If we are not gonna to get there, of course it's a quite long distance, but if we are not going to get there around the US Open, then I'm gonna to skip and wait for the next week. I don't wanna see that towards the end of the day, because then, you know, I don't have a chance to run away or to do anything to manage, just have to close it. So only to see this during the or around the US Open. Don't forget, guys, that besides the Canadian data, we also have good package from the US. It's a personal spending, right? Personal income, Chicago PMI, and revised University of Michigan. So plenty of events still ahead before we are going to have the weekend, right? So guys, be careful. Maybe lower your exposure. Don't be trapped, and see you around. Take care and goodbye.